Alright, welcome back there, Wompers, as I like to call you all, with another reaction with Freddy Womp. And it is like the 19th of October, and I still have not watched the Zeta and Vaseraga. I might be mispronouncing that. The two new characters, the last two that are in the launch version of Granblue. I have not watched the character trailer yet. Characters? I haven't watched it. That's the point here. Now let's just say we're gonna get right into it. Let me make sure my volumes are good so y'all can hear me. I hope they look cool. I hope it looks pretty as I expect it to. I want to see if they'll give me some of the main Uzi Matera, but I doubt it because I really am hampering to play a zoner again. But let's see what Arxis is cooking today. I love this game from when I played at the beta, by the way. It's super fun. Hey. Yeah, I know what Vaseraga looks like because I've seen him. I've never seen you though, because I don't play Granblue. Spear? Okay, that's a good start. I'm not into edgy-looking characters really, so it doesn't really appeal to me personally since moveset's really cool. Oh, that's cool as shit. Weird, but really cool. Really big, really big, really big. Overhead, maybe? A guard break? So he's like a true big body. Saw that he had like super armor and shit. Oh, what? Was that a super or was that... I don't know. This is the negative of me never playing legit Granblue. Really nice trailer. The game is very pretty yet. But it's not GG 2020 sadly, but it's fucking pretty. That owes a lot to Granblue as a game, a series I guess to call it. Granblue has a phenomenal design. What the hell is this for? Oh! There's a like a collector's edition. I'll see if that's coming to the States soon. Alright, so thoughts, so we'll go back, we'll watch it again, we'll slow it down. Let me get tunes going. I don't remember how to do this, dude. I don't do this ever. Give me a sec, y'all. We're gonna get some tunes going. I don't know Granblue music, so we're just going to, listen to a soundtrack I was listening to earlier. I know it's very not fitting for this, but I don't give a heck, to be honest. Dude, I don't know any of the songs by name in this, unfortunately. So I'm gonna... I don't know. What's a... The Ginso Tree music is good. I love the Ginso Tree a lot. I gotta know the name of these. Go with this. Hey, Lamau, I should have just F'd that. And now since we have it like this, we'll go through. We'll skip to where the actual gameplay happens. By the way, Zeta's design, really cool. Not the strongest design I've seen out of Granblue, personally. But I do really like it. It's just, I feel like, from what I've seen of Granblue, in a game full of tons of amazing looking designs, she still looks great. But not as good as like the other ones, personally. I do like this here, like this little... combo she does looks like off of an EX, judging by that glow. Like that combo looks really nice. Like a launcher into those might be like a... So I'm thinking that those right there might work like a Vreka maybe? Or she has like a CC like thing, like a 5cc type shit, like a Blaze Blue. But I don't know. As for Razaraga, I still don't know how his name's pronounced. I'll figure it out eventually. Him and Percival seem like the two big bodies. More him, because I don't remember Percival being shown to have hyper armor on any of his moves, when it blatantly shows that this guy has armor on some of his buttons. So he'll probably hit really hard. Like, No, okay, that was showcasing her overhead. Big ass sweep. Did you see that? Was that a sweep? Look at the distance that'll cover. Holy shit, that could be scary, dudes. So, a guard break. Did he grab into that or is it an attack? No, it's an attack, alright. Has a guard break. Yeah, hyper armor. And then some of the supers we've obviously already seen. So, fun fact for those who didn't watch me playing the beta. Fairy's who I fucked with in the beta the most. Because who would have thought I'm more into like keep away and zoner characters nowadays. That's why out of everyone in this game, realistically, Matera's probably going to end up being my main. With maybe a Zeta sub because for those who don't know me, I have an obsession with lances and spears. They're like my favorite weapon type. So anytime a game actually gives me someone with one of those weapon types, I feel a compulsive need to play them. Like, I didn't play her a lot in Central Fiction, I believe is when she got added, yeah. But Mai Natsumi, or Natsume, should do proper Japanese for once. I didn't really F with her that much just because I was so fucking ingrained in the every other character I already played at the time, like my Ragna, my S, my Rachel that I played in Central Fiction. But I did dick around with her quite a bit because a lance spear user thing. But I will say, one thing I didn't like about Mai is how much of her kit ended up revolving around throwing the lance. I don't know if she has more than that. She had the weird, like, string button system, kind of like a Tekken character. Where, like, AAB, BAB type stuff. But her drive being her throwing the lance, turning into more what I would define as a spear, because I always view them as like a spear is throwing the lances like pokey-pokes. It made me lose some interest in her. It looks like Zeta might not be like that, which is awesome. It looks like it might just legit be a character with a spear. Also, no, I think that's like a boss. Oh, that's right! I forgot. This game has like an action RPG story mode thing with gear and shit. Yeah, it's probably what it is. Yeah, because Vaseraga is there, unless... No, it looks like he was affected at some point there. Unless that's what Vaseraga does as a boss, I don't know. But anywho, yeah, it looks like she fights with it, like, just by stabbing, which is fucking awesome for me. So I'm thinking Matera and Zeta will be my characters. Maybe with Catalina or Gran, just to F around with, because I played them a lot in the beta. And if I'm going to play Matera, who looks like a zoner keep away character, I'm probably not playing Fairy at the same time. So I'm just thinking Matera, I don't know how it's pronounced. Y'all can correct me in the comments. Matera, Zeta, and Gran or Catalina in that order. And obviously, it's an ArcSys game in the modern day. There will be updates, balance patches, more than likely. It's also a Cygames game, so this is something I'm interested in here. This is a game that is developed by ArcSys and, like, published by Cygames or whatever. Maybe even co-developed by Cygames. I'm not too sure. But Cygames, obviously they make Granblue. For those that don't know, they're also the people who make Shadowverse. They might even make other things. Also, Zeta looks really good like that with her hair. Was her hair always like that? No, I didn't think so. She looks really good with her hair down. But, so, Cygames make Shadowverse, they make Granblue. Two very, very long-living. Shadowverse is like 3 years old, if even. But two, like, live service concepts. So what I want to know is, how long is Granblue versus going to be supported? Because if Cygames views this in the same way that they view normal Granblue and they view Shadowverse, 5 years from now we could still be getting balance patches for this game and new characters and just new content in general. And I wonder if that's what we're going to do, if this is going to be like the Street Fighter V model for this fighting game. Now, obviously, that's a question unless it's been answered in an interview with, I'm not going to say a name for who's directing this, because I don't know who at ArcSys is directing this at the end of the day. The music sounds loud. I should probably turn that down. It's probably not that loud, actually. But, yeah, so, I don't know who at ArcSys is directing it. I don't think it's Ishiwatari or Mori. But I could be wrong. I've never looked into it. But either way, until the game is either out or closer to, or as I said, they had an interview that I'm unfamiliar with, I don't think we know how they're viewing or how they're doing the business model of this game. I don't know if they're just releasing the game, the 11 characters, and that's it, like a balance patch or two. I highly doubt it. Granblue has tons of characters, a lot of characters I've seen around that people want, and it's side games. I have money. We'll cover another topic in the next few minutes about that topic. But like, I'm curious about that. Are we gonna get a season concept? Is this game gonna be relevant in 5 to 6 years with just updates rolling out? Because in which case, Arxis is putting a lot on their plates. Like, they should be able to handle it, but just think of how many games they have on their plates like that then. Because like BB Tag is obviously still getting updated this November in a month and 3 days, month and 2 days. We're getting 2.0. Dragon Ball, while it's slowing down now, it is still getting updated. We still are getting Broly. Gogeta just came out like last month or this month, one of the two. I don't keep track of dates. But there's that. New Guilty Gear is coming out, and Guilty Gear is like their flagship fighting game. So that game will probably be around for a while, like the Exard series, for lack of a better term. I think Sign came out in 2012, 2013. And Rev 2 came out 2017, I think. So between 2012, 2013, and 2017, we were getting Guilty Gear updates. So like for 5 years, we were getting Guilty Gear updates. And there might even been a more recent Guilty Gear update that I'm unfamiliar with, as is known I don't really play the game. But yeah, I'm really curious as to what the business model for this is going to be. And if it is around the way Street Fighter V is, can Arxis handle it? Because like they are putting a lot on their plate right now. Because like they're also still updating Kill It Kill If, for that matter. Like that game is still getting legit balance patches. At least it was as of like a month or two ago, from what I remember. They might be done now, I don't know. But the other topic at hand that I'm curious about is, how are the tournaments going to be for this game? Because side games, they have money. Like, I'm pretty sure these Shadowverse tournaments get like a lot of money put into them. Now, obviously, Shadowverse is a digital card game. It's free to play. There's a lot of things about Shadowverse that make it honestly more marketable than Granblue Fantasy Versus. The main thing Granblue has going for it is it's Granblue. Granblue is like the biggest mobile game in Japan, so you're going to get a lot of people who've never played a fighting game coming into this game, hence like the reason for the more simplified inputs, being able to just press a single button to do specials, hence the cooldown system, all that stuff. Like, it makes sense. It's implemented so... And even then, like, even the gameplay itself is more simplistic. Like, you've heard people compare it to Street Fighter, and a lot of people have compared a lot of games to Street Fighter, obviously. Like Under Night. There are people who will compare Under Night to Street Fighter. I've done it before, despite admitting that I think it is a gross misrepresentation of what Under Night is mechanically. But it is what it is. The thing with Granblue is, I cannot think of a better way to describe it than like anime Street Fighter 2 in specific. It's a very simplistic game based around, like, from what it seems like in the beta, and for those who have played it at tournaments and stuff, at the newer builds and whatnot, it seems like a very neutral based game, like poking and stuff, like a game that would teach you fundamentals first and foremost, that type of thing. So that makes sense to get all these new players into. But if this game does gain popularity to anywhere near, let's just say, Shadowverse levels, what are the tournaments going to look like? Is Side Games just going to throw like a $1 million pot into this? Like, is this game going to become massive just from the money alone? Like, there's so many... It's like the thing with the League of Legends fighting game recently. So they showed off clips of the League of Legends fighting games, and it's kind of thrown... I should just say Riot fighting game, but either way. It's kind of thrown the FGC into literal disarray for now, because of this weird, like, 50-50, 75-25, whatever divide, where you have people saying that they will drop every game they love playing to play the Riot fighting game, even if they don't like it, if there's money involved. So, like, if Riot puts a shit ton of money into the tournaments for that fighting game, which it's Riot, they more than likely will. They have the money to do it. People will actively drop the things that they love playing. Like, it's kind of the opposite of the Under Night community in that regard, because, like, not to toot our own horn or anything, but the Under Night community is very grassroots. That's what we are. Like, that's how we got to Evo. We've been playing this game, like, since Unib. For some people, I jumped in with EL in Japan, as is known about me. I've been playing the game on and off for, like, pretty much around since I started playing fighting games, or a year after. It's been, like, 6 years now since I first played EL. Whenever the Japanese release date was, I had, like, a week onto that for it to get shipped to me from PlayAsia. And ever since then is when I've been playing Under Night. But, like, it's the opposite mentality. Under Night has been consistently growing, not because of, like, bigger prize pools or anything. It's just from the community never leaving for things with bigger prize pools. Like, obviously, the community could have went and jumped to, like, Street Fighter. Like, the Capcom Cup is, like, a 300k prize pool. Or, I think it's a first place prize, actually. It's not even the pool. That's just the straight first place prize. Like, yeah, pretty sure it's a 300k, like, first place. That's for that. Like, we could have done stuff like that, but we didn't. And the Riot fighting game is showcasing that there are people who probably are going to do that if money's involved. And that brings the question of, if money's put in the Granblues tournaments, which Cygames might be willing to do, what's it going to look like at the competitive level? Are there going to be people who drop every other game to play it just to get some, like, money in their tummy because they're fucking hungry? I don't know. It's... the FGC is in a weird state right now, is what I'm saying. Like, there's a bunch of people crying that they don't want FGC to be esports, but on the same side, the same token, they're crying about not making enough money or wanting fighting game tournaments to have more money. And that usually comes with esports. So, I don't know. I can do a whole video on the current state of the FGC and how fucking ass backwards they can be with their own mindsets at times. And I might do it. Just let me know if y'all want to see it. I can go on like a 30-minute tangent rant about that topic. Me personally, I think Granblue Fantasy Versus is fun. I'll be playing with, I don't know about like competitively. It depends on how much I do enjoy the build when it comes out and all that, and if the technical depth is there, because tooting horn again, I'm an Under Night player. The game is super technically deep. That's the type of game I gravitate towards. I want technical depth in my games. It's actually one of the reasons that I don't play Street Fighter like competitively anymore. I barely play the game at all. Does Street Fighter V have depth? Yes, it does. But it's still lacking in other regards, like the anti-zoning system of the game. As someone who enjoys playing zoners nowadays the most and keep away characters, like that game's so anti-zoning that I just don't want to deal with it. And we'll just say it's not as deep as other Street Fighters. That's where it begins and ends. And I fear Granblue's going to be that way. I fear that what we've experienced in the beta is the full depth of the game. And for some people, that might not be a bad thing. For people new to the genre, it will not be a bad thing. Like, Under Night is a phenomenal game, and it has an amazing tutorial. Like, one of the better tutorials I've ever touched in a fighting game. Teaches you matchups, teaches you option selects, teaches you a ton of things. But I would not recommend Under Night as a person's first fighting game, because it's like Tekken. I wouldn't recommend Tekken 7 as someone's first fighting game. Going into Under Night, Tekken, games like that, you're going down the rabbit hole. There's so much technical depth to those games. Fun fact, the reason I didn't play Tekken 7 competitively, and why I don't, is I didn't want to deal with that rabbit hole. I didn't want to jump down that hole of learning all that technical depth of Tekken. That's exactly why I avoided it, I'll admit that. That and 2D fighters, like traditional 2D fighters, are more my jam than like 3D fighters. I do think Tekken's the best of the 3D fighters out there, like that I've played, like Dead or Alive, Soul Cal. Never played Virtua Fighter, can't comment on it. I know a lot of people really like Virtua Fighter. But yeah, I hope Granblue's a really good game. It seemed fun from the beta, but I hope that it's not a flash in the pan, so to speak. That the only reason it seemed fun is because of me only having like 2 days, 3 days in that beta with it. I don't want it to be like after a month I feel like I know everything about the game, because fighting games, realistically, a fighting game should take you years to master. And I don't want Granblue to be like, I've played this game for a month, I'm like, there's nowhere to go here anymore. I don't want that to happen. Like, it should take you years to master a fighting game. Just as long ish, give or take, maybe a little shorter, to like master your character. Because like fighting games are just, it's like any competitive game really. It should take you hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of hours to like hone your craft. In a fighting game, that's both in the game's own mechanics and as your main. Like, it's one of the reasons that my Blake in BB Tag is so good, because through all the teams I've made in BB Tag, Blake was on them. No matter what, I've always ran Blake. Like Blake Mika, Blake Weiss, Blake Hyde, Blake Naoto. There's always been a Blake on my team. So my Blake is noticeably better than the rest of the characters just from me consistently playing that one character. But yeah, got very off topic, yet not off topic at the same time. There's a lot of things I'm excited for this game, a lot of things that concern me about it. That's the general gist of it. The FGC is a bunch of fucks. That's not really anything new, I guess. It's just, as the FGC is becoming bigger, we're going through a lot of growing pains. That's all there is to it. Granblue is going to be another case of it. It happened when Dragon Ball came out to some degree, with a bunch of people who've never played a traditional fighting game. It's going to happen with Granblue. It's definitely going to happen with the Riot fighting game. You're going to get all these people who've never played a fighting game getting into the FGC for the first time, and I guarantee we'll keep some of them. Solid 2% of the people who play these games will probably stick around and expand out into other games and go to locals and majors and all that fun stuff, be a legitimate part of the scene, and the others they'll probably drop off. It's just the way it is. But as we garner more people, we go through the growing pains, which every scene goes through, unfortunately. I hope they're not too painful and crazy, because the FGC has been very drama-filled since EVO, pretty much. Like, ever since this past EVO, it's just been one thing of drama after the other, like sexual assault allegations, this, that, this. You all get the point. It's been chaos. And that's a part of the growing pains, unfortunately. The bigger the community, the higher the chances of things like that happening. It fucking sucks, but there's really nothing you can do about it. Human nature sucks at times. The best you can do is, in retrospect, like, ban the people. Hungry Box getting a crap thrown on him, you all get the point. There's a fucking laundry list of things here. But yeah, I don't really got anything else. Nah. All I'm gonna say is, I hope you all enjoy this game when it comes out. You'll be seeing me stream it. Check out my Twitch. Come hang out with me sometime. It's much more fun to talk with me in person, I promise. Well, in person, you all know what I mean. Either way, this has been Freddie Wompton checking out the new Granblue trailer. This girl's cute, by the way. And I don't really got anything else. I'll be making guides for characters in this game. They'll probably be about 2 minutes long if the technical depth doesn't get much more technical than the beta. But here's hoping, because there is a fine line you need to walk when you're simplifying games so you don't lose technical depth. And BB Tag, while it's a very deep and complex game yet because of the way the system mechanics work, it is, in my opinion, noticeably less complex than, say, like, Mother series BlazBlue. Like, it's not Central Fiction in terms of complexity. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next video, boys. Later. If you happen to enjoy that video, feel free to, like, comment, share, subscribe, check out my Twitch, check out my Twitter. Links are always in my descriptions. All the generic stuff you would typically hear on YouTube nowadays. All those, yeah, you get it. My waifu, they command you to.